Why didn't the Jewish people lean into the jelly donuts more? I didn't realize this until literally 2 years ago.
We have them.
Yeah.
Why didn't we lean
Like,
into them more?
yeah.
We have barely, latkes, barely.
Yeah.
Obviously, the matzo ball is a big one.
Big one. But I mean, with the Hanukkah
Bagels, yeah.
Christmas thing, and it's like, did all the things with the 8 gifts and trying to like kind of
Yeah, they really could have marketed that jelly donut.
it really would have
better.
been it would have put Hanukkah up at least a couple notches. I don't know if it would touch Christmas, but it
wouldn't touch Christmas.
Closer.
But it is our most festive holiday
Yeah.
by a lot. I mean, because we joined in with you guys. We just rode coattails.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're like, we're gonna ride.
Hanukkah is the manet of holidays. We'll do almost what you're doing and just use that to prop us up.
It's breaking bread.
I did town hall.
To town hall. You've been there with Jerry.
I did.
Beacon?
Yeah, Beacon. I did. I did Jerry once, and I did Greg Giraldo's fundraiser right after he passed. I put together that show for his family.
Oh wow.
And then another time, I was there supposed to be working with Jerry, and Steve Martin bumped me.
Damn. Bumped you
We've
off.
been enemies ever since.
You and Steve Martin or you and Seinfeld?
Steve Martin.
I thought you didn't stand up anymore.
Him?
I guess just
It was
for
weird.
spite.
He was he was backstage with his notes, and he kept going, "Is this funny?
What?
Is this funny?" And you're like, "I can't say no."
Yeah. Whatever. You're not getting an honest response.
Right. But they weren't. You know what I mean? So it was like, and he was supposed to do like 10, and
Had he not been on
he
for
did
like 4
5.
years?
Yeah.
And you did not know yet if you were being bumped? He was just like, is this funny? And you're like, why do you care right now?
I think they told me, no, they told me, well, the one of the funniest part of it is I'm waiting for Jerry. You know, those dressing rooms are all off those little elevators. Mm-hmm. And
Real little.
I was doing a green room bit when Jerry was coming. I said, Jerry's on his way. I said, okay. And I sprawled out on the couch like I was asleep. And then he walked in with, it was Jerry, Steve Martin, and Tom Hanks. And all I hear is Jerry go, "Oh." And I open my eyes thinking, it's
Jerry.
It's my pal. And it's these giants. I was like, hey, I'm just doing a bit
bits.
that didn't work.
Funnier
in front of my idols.
I mean, best case scenario, we got a chuckle. So it wasn't even worth it.
Yeah, it was brutal. How are we, Joe?
You guys are looking good.
Thank you.
You ever see the Tom Hanks thing with I think it was an Alabama football fan? So
No.
he's passed out on a picnic table like this, drinking all day. Alabama win.
Yeah.
This is done. And I don't know why Tom Hanks is around or there, but he sees the guy fucking down and he sees his phone and he like pulls the guy's heads up, grabs his phone and just does it with him and the guy. Tom Hanks. So it's like, he'll find this and have no clue.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, he uses his face for evil.
I baked you some bread.
That's great.
You're welcome. And I did one better.
What did you
It's
do
kind of a
better
little-
than breaking bread? That baking bread for someone is like the ultimate good. That's an Abrahamic thing.
It is. It goes way back.
Yeah.
Way back. I don't know how far this one goes back, but there's 2 elements to this. One is re-gifting, because it was given to me and I couldn't eat all of them. But then I thought it was perfect.
Totally cool with that.
Hanukkah donuts.
Oh.
You looked at Joe immediately.
Wow.
Hanukkah donuts.
Nice.
Now,
What are they
here's
called? They're
here's
called
my-
something. Nice. Pass.
Rachel, questionable.
Wow.
Why didn't the Jewish people lean into the jelly donuts more? I didn't realize this until literally 2 years
we
ago.
have them.
Yeah.
Why didn't we lean
Like,
into them more?
yeah.
Yeah, we have barely, latkes, barely.
Yeah.
Obviously, the matzo ball is a big one.
Big one. But I mean, with the Hanukkah
Bagels, yeah.
Christmas thing, and it's like, did all the things with the 8 gifts and trying to like kind of
Yeah, they really could have marketed that jelly donut.
It really
lot
would have been
better.
it would have put Hanukkah up at least a couple notches. I don't know if it would touch Christmas, but it would.
It wouldn't touch Christmas.
Closer.
But it is our most festive holiday
Yeah.
by a lot. I mean, because we joined in with you guys. We just rode coattails.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
You're like, we're gonna ride.
Hanukkah is the manet of holidays. We'll do almost what you're doing and just use that to prop us up.
Just change it a little bit and let all the Christians think it's important to us, but we're just having fun.
We don't care at
You
all.
don't care
We're
about
like,
Hanukkah.
Yeah, my dad told us, he's like, no, we didn't do Hanukkah presents. It's a modern American thing. I'm British. I was like,
Yeah.
what'd you do? He goes, continued to have starvation in Romania. I don't know. We're lucky to have crops that year, like every year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is very exciting. You have 2 specials that are going to be coming out
Yeah,
on
25.
Netflix. And the one is already a hit on YouTube.
Yeah, pretty cool, huh?
So is that one going to come out after,
Way after
America's
April,
Sweetheart?
America's Sweetheart, very good. Yeah, this one was January 14th,
January 14th, America's Sweetheart.
and then April or May probably.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing. Joe, you know
pretty cool.
Netflix.
Yeah.
So Ari's special does over 6 million views on YouTube.
yeah, we're even Germany.
Huge hit.
Yeah,
And
my mule. Go
And
ahead.
then Netflix is like, we're gonna air it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the second time that's happened. I did it on Comedy Central too, where they were making fun of a few people who were like, I guess we'll do it on our own. Bamford was one. We were just like, hey, if they're not calling, I don't know how long we're going to wait.
Yeah.
And so I got an opportunity to do one from some like online company that's trying to launch. And I was like, back then, like, I couldn't even pay for it. Even
Yeah.
$5,000 was like, no way.
Right.
And internal meetings are all like, these comics are trying to do their own thing. That's so ridiculous. And then they bought that special and another one.
Wow,
Same thing.
really?
Did it one too. Yeah. This is the second time I've done that.
Amazing. It's an amazing feat.
It is pretty cool.
It's very cool.
pretty cool.
I mean,
It's like a little more of a stamp of approval than we think you're big, we'd like to have you. It's
yeah.
more like, oh, actually the quality of that was such that we'd want it.
It was really good.
Thanks.
Jew and America's Sweetheart.
I just read it. Just
Your
came
sets are they're both so beautiful. Like
Thanks.
literally the set.
out. Well, Pops, when you don't have kids,
Go on.
how many do you have?
20.
Okay.
I have 2.
2. Okay, so that's how many abortions I paid for. So the difference in money after that is wildly different.
And what did those cost? 300 a piece?
They were $440, I think, 430, something like that.
Worth it.
Yeah,
Worth
Mitzi.
it.
I told Mitzi for the first one, I was like white face. I was like, she's like, what's the matter? I was like, I gotta go pregnant. Oh, she's gonna do. I think she's having an abortion, but it's next week. I'm still hoping she goes through with it. It's out of your control. How much is it? I told her. She goes, oh, they haven't gone up much since the 80s. Like, what? Oh, I paid for a lot of abortions for my comedians.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. I'll hit you with the names later.
Wow. For even 500, you can't even get braces. You can't get one row of braces. You couldn't do bottom braces for that.
Shoes cost that much sometimes
Yeah.
now. If they're dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So anyway, I got enough money to put it into my other babies
And put it into your
Yeah,
specials.
where
Oh,
I
man.
can't really get it back, but it's worth it.
They're both really, both
Thanks.
specials are great, but just the look of both of them, they're so distinct, but both so you.
Yeah, I try to make it go with the design too, like the Jewish thing. It's Eric Abrams. A lot of the idea was just like something that harkens religiousness, and it's like, all right, candles, and then you go to some artist. That one was Lauren Halpern, and she was like, I've got some ideas.
For Sweetheart?
No, for
for-
the Jew one. And she's like, there are these boxes they use in a small town in Israel for Hanukkah, and it's like that'll sort of play, and then we'll go from there. It was like great.
Whoa.
And then for this one, it was Design Foundry, and it was just like, what would happen if we get off the news and like stop caring about all this dumb, crazy stuff, and like
Yeah.
let nature take its course,
Yeah.
and then like do a set after 50 years in the future of not caring.
It was so great because just for our listeners, if you haven't seen it yet, by the time this comes out, will we be?
Release date.
Release date, it's today?
Nice.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, you must have seen this morning.
Yeah, it was so
Wow,
great.
that's great.
Well, we know people, so we got an early copy, but it's just all floral. It's like you're in the jungle, but it's not distracting at all.
So my ideas on that are, if you want to know, it's sharp, specific line, the old Comedy Central stuff, like a Tells with like a big drum set behind them. Like that draws the eye because they're
Right.
too small. So like 1 or 2 candles would have drawn the eye. 3,000, it's just too many, so it blends in. Like the old headshot backgrounds, it's like stone.
Yeah.
And I don't like sharp lines like this coming up out of my head. This distracting.
Get Rachel right down and remove that line.
So like if I'm like here, that's like an annoyance.
Yes.
So if you do enough, one rose bush would be not enough. Mm-hmm. And then this company was like, I don't know if we could do that for that kind of money. And then I explained them what I'm doing and why, and they go, you know what? Let's fucking go.
Wow.
Yeah, and when you like unleash an artist, it's crazy.
It is great because it's for what I was paying attention to. I just saw the background, which was like these big jungle floral Amazon leaves, and it wasn't until a little ways in that I saw the floor was mossy jungle floor.
Yeah, because we were like, what if there's just the stage is still a stage, it'll look too sharp. And then they had these fawns come over the top to like cut the stage.
Yeah.
All real.
Yeah. All real?
Yeah. They took back the big elephant ear plants, but the flowers, we just divvied it up for the crew.
Whoa.
I gave some to my aunt.
Did it smell like floral?
Yeah, you can hear a little bit of stuffy nose from the allergies I was getting to those. Yeah, there's a little bit of the going out of my voice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's dense. It's like the dark woods for the hobbits.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. You walk in there and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, really cool. But yeah, not distracting. It's very
and
interesting
that's like on
because
top of jokes.
It's interesting because you talk about how you left the news for like 5 years. You don't really watch the news.
Yeah.
Stuff finds you, of course, but you don't really you don't digest it all. But your mind is always on the most current news stuff. Not maybe news, maybe more trends. Like you're very in tune with. You're not talking about family or whatever. Jew was different. This one
different.
is very topical. It's very fresh, topical stuff. It doesn't seem like someone who cut themselves off from the
Well,
news.
I was hearing from other people. So like when a few things happened. October
7th?
No, the other one. January 6th.
Yes.
I was in Ecuador. And I remember Rogan and Bert and Tom were all texting me with this text thread where we just shit on people. And then that was happening. I didn't know. I was in Ecuador. And they were like, come on, you believe this is crazy? And I just like took a picture of my view, which my dog on me on a hammock with like jungle behind me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. And then Rogan's like, yeah, you win. And then they just left me and went back to like fighting about the end of democracy. And I don't know what else they were saying that none of it came true.
Yeah.
So I hear about it from other people yelling.
Right. Of course.
And I'm like, oh, what is that? Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
It's like somebody's talking about Premier League and you're like, oh, wow. And they weren't supposed to win? What an upset.
Yeah. But it's
I just try to tell people why they shouldn't care about every single topic they seem to care about.
was it driving you crazy?
Yeah,
because your mind is very active. So my friends who are smart, the news bothers them more than my dumber friends because they really see the reality of it.
Yeah, isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
Who was it that said like I'm the smartest guy in the world because I know I'm dumb? You know what that was? Is it
Charlie Brown?
Plato or
Socrates,
one of those?
Yeah.
One of those losers that
Right.
can't even afford shoes. Yeah, it's like, well, don't you want blissful ignorance?
Yeah.
Remember they were bitching about Iran and nuclear holocaust one of the times? Mm-hmm. And I remember everybody yelling about it, and then I was like about to go skiing. And then they were like, "There might be," and I'm like, "Yeah, well, if we're all dead, like I can't do anything about it."
Right.
So like, you're gonna get to heaven, and they're like, "What'd you do with your last days?" I'm like, "I hit this run I've never hit before," and I just. What about you? It was like I was yelling at strangers on Instagram.
Right.
It's like, how embarrassing is that gonna be?
Yeah.
Yeah, just get happy, enjoy your kids. I don't know. There's so much fun to life.
And that's kind of what's cool about this special. What is cool about this special is you take this heavy stuff and you do put it's funny because I always get pinged for being an optimistic comic.
Yeah.
That people say I'm not cynical and I'm always seeing the bright side of things. The difference though, and in your special, America's Sweetheart, you're doing the same thing, but your starting point is much darker subjects.
Yeah, right.
I'm finding like happiness out of being with my family or whatever. You're finding the joy out of a school shooting.
Right. Yeah. I try to find some laughs in extra dark places.
In all the dark stuff.
Yeah, we're both, I guess, both sides of that coin.
Yeah.
You really are just living it positively, but I'm seeing like a dead body in the woods. I'm like, look at that rose growing out of it.
Right.
That's nice.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. And I don't get near the dead
You
body.
don't get anywhere
because
near
I'm
it.
at the swing set over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it does, when people ask me about it in interviews.
About your positivity?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's crumbled around you where you're now the punk rocker.
Right. It's like a weird thing to be. And my answer is always, well, why? You have a choice. Why would you choose the other way to live? I don't understand that. I don't understand in the short amount of time that you're here, why you would choose to fill your day and your brain with negativity and garbage. I just don't get the
But the cool thing
benefit
is,
of it.
through the arts, is like that's kind of how you express it, where you don't heavy-handedly say it to people. You just like, check out my comedy. You'll get my worldview from it. I'm talking about you. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
Like when they came after like Dolly Parton like a few years ago for like, how come you don't stand up for like trans and gay rights? And she's like, guys, I wrote 40 #1 songs about it.
Right.
Like, what? Are you crazy? You want me to tweet?
Right.
I wrote Hall of Fame music to take your side.
Yeah.
What the fuck did you do? You're coming after me?
Right.
Are you? So like you've just shown a positive world forever.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a much better way just to live, you know?
Yeah, but even like Bob Dylan, like he's anti-war. He wasn't like talking about it. He was singing about it. Mm-hmm. You're singing about it.
Right.
It's nice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I know you don't watch the news all the time, but you can eat one. Those are for you. We can even get you a napkin. Do we have any napkins around?
There's the whole pocket like that. Just go on. No, I didn't take any while you were gone. What's up? What's up? Well, I don't
Thank
need
you,
it.
Rachel.
I'll keep one, but I don't need it.
They really are. They really are.
This is a German trick to catch the Jews. I see who eats these and just mark their faces.
These are so good. I really don't know. Yeah, why?
Not a sweets guy, but I've heard of them.
Oh, they're so good. You don't watch the news a lot. But you are a Yankee fan. We're both Yankee fans.
Okay. Jesus.
Did you hear who they signed?
Cody Bellinger.
Who cares?
That close. Exactly. He's an old one. He'll be middle of the lineup guy. That closer's great. Got rid of Clay Holmes. Mm-hmm. That's fucking key. Also,
I know. Clay was, he was a bummer.
Juan Soto leaves, right? Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like, fuck him. Even though it's like, I get it. You got more money and you're a homosexual, so you want to play on the homosexual team in New York. And
Wait, what?
huh? But it's like you're kind of mad at him.
Thank you, Rachel. You saw me struggling.
But with Clay Holmes, he got a $30 million contract somewhere, and it's like, good for you, man. I didn't hate you. We couldn't have you here, but I hope you move on and get a better place.
Yeah. Max Fried.
Yeah. Left-handed hitter. These are long contracts, though,
Highest paid
Lefty.
Jewish athlete,
Oh, he's Jewish.
Jewish baseball player of all time.
Sandy Koufax
Look at me bringing you the news.
Yeah.
How great is that?
I never even did that math that he was Jewish.
Highest paid Jewish baseball player of all time.
Wow.
I know.
It's all over me now.
Do you need more napkin?
No, it's okay. That's
Is
crazy.
that exciting?
Jewish baseball player of all time, not Jewish athlete.
I don't know. Maya, could you look that up? Who's the highest paid Jewish athlete of all
There
time?
must be a tunnel digger somewhere that's getting paid well per haul.
And we
Yeah,
got
maybe
him.
it's him. It's like what other leagues are there where Jews shine?
There's probably a basketball player. Is there one basketball player?
He wouldn't make the all-star money though.
Yeah,
Or maybe it's him. Maybe.
it could be.
Maccabi Tel Aviv doesn't play that well as the New York Yankees.
He's definitely the highest paid American Jewish athlete of all time.
Highest paid American athlete of all time.
Might be a soccer player somewhere out
Oh,
there.
yeah.
They get paid so much.
Do they?
When they get paid, they get paid. They get
Really?
like points on the team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, there's probably a soccer football player.
Soccer what?
Football player. What's that tattoo on your side?
This one?
Down there.
Keep
Yeah.
on trucking?
Is that what it says?
Yeah, it looks like an F, but
You don't have to put it on our account.
okay.
Whatever makes you comfortable.
I'm comfortable.
My
dude.
daughter
It's
said to me
perfect
the other
temperature.
day if she really wishes she was a guy just so she could walk around with no shirt on.
It's the best.
She really was like, I just want to not wear a shirt.
So it happens in New York sometimes,
Uh-huh.
but it's not as casual.
No.
No. I went over to Jay's house once.
Yeah.
I used to live right in my neighborhood, and I would go over there, just stop in, I'd get high and walk around, see if he's there. And then I'm like, dude, I saw a girl with just a tank top with like nothing on the sides. And he goes, I saw her an hour ago. And it's like, you don't get that with, I saw a guy with his shirt off, like, oh, I probably saw that.
Yeah. It's too much.
I got Bobby Kelly's kid to do it.
You did.
Yeah, I tell you, she was like, what's up? And I'm like, sun's out, guns out, bro. And then like, you know how kids will like look up to adults sometimes?
Yeah.
He just like took his shirt off in the backyard, and Don's like, what are you doing? He goes, sun's out, guns out, Mom, it's the law.
That's great.
Bobby's like, he loves you so much more than me.
I was the first person to hold his son.
Really? Mm-hmm. Underwater? It's like, you need to be single?
For some reason, my daughter and I were driving back into the city the morning that after they had the baby, and we stopped at the hospital, and yeah, we were the first visitors, which is so, like, I'm sure he doesn't love that as the story. Like,
Yeah.
he'd much rather it be his mom or whatever.
Yeah, but
it
it's
was
you.
me and my daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty good. No children for you?
I got my tubes tied.
You did?
Yeah, I was doing a bit about it a few specials ago, that I'm 7 minutes away from getting a vasectomy. That was the punchline. It was all about hating kids and stuff. But I
Yeah.
did this whole tour for like 2 years, worried about it. I mean, I take some chances that I shouldn't take in the heat of the moment.
I'm sure.
And I've heard of comedians like now linked to some rando in Kansas City for the rest of their life
Yeah.
because they had one extra beer.
And Esty wasn't around.
I mean, so then eventually I'm like, what am I doing? I just don't want them.
Yeah.
There's enough.
Were you? Why do you think you came to that decision? And
It was always like,
it was never in the cards.
I guess it might have been. You know the thing that like you do as you get older, you slowly start dropping off possibilities of your life. So like when you're in college, like maybe I'll be a teacher in my high school. Like that's still a possibility.
Yeah.
Probably too late now, but it probably took you like 25. You're like, all right, that's gone.
Yeah.
There's different things,
Yeah.
the possibilities of life. Camp counselor,
Right.
and then like I won't do that. Or it would be fun to be a waiter, but not anymore.
Yeah.
That's done now.
Yeah.
And so like that was like I guess I'll do it later, and then it was eventually I was like I don't want this, and
Right.
I feel like the desire would have come by now,
Yeah.
and it was like 40.
Do you think it's connected to not having a partner that you're into?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I think it's connected to I was dating an actress. She said she heard a theory that artists have less kids than minus like the ones who have 40. The French painters and stuff, but like
Yeah.
because a lot of the reason you want kids, there's a few reasons. Work the farm, that's kind of done.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, fulfillment is part of it, but it's like I want something to live on after me. And if you've made the Mona Lisa, you got it already. You do have something living on.
Right.
So it's not that it will make that go away completely, but like
Yeah.
takes that need for eternity down.
Right.
And then I heard Argus Hamilton say it once really well.
Oh yeah.
Like, how come you never had kids? He goes, I'm the star of my life.
Yeah. That is
It's honest.
Yeah, it is honest. That was the hardest part when we first
To
had
give
them.
up stardom?
Yeah, because it's really just the selfishness of
Yeah.
you. It's like, no, when we have kids, I'll still just, I'm still gonna read the paper. I'm still gonna have coffee in the morning to start the day. And I didn't read. There was no time to read the paper in the morning for 20 years. Like it was impossible. Like it's that level of attention that's needed, and for a selfish person, which we all are to some degree,
Yeah.
and if you're in our business probably a little bit more, that was the chipping away at that was the gift or the curse of fatherhood.
Do you think if you had not had kids, go back now to then, so you don't have the kids, and those kids that you have now are not gonna come.
Okay.
But now that you know how much work it was gonna take, you probably didn't quite know how bad it was gonna be.
Right. Yeah.
So now that would that guy, that Tom Papa at 25 or whatever, would he have had kids? have a full understanding of how much work it was. I would not have gotten my dog.
I have the knowledge of the work. Do I have the knowledge of the other stuff?
Like what? Those kids?
Of just like what
The love.
what the family, yeah, the love, the all of that.
I guess, yeah.
Then I would do it.
Yeah. 'Cause it's
Yeah,
worth it.
because it's worth it. It's exhausting. I remember sitting in the Laugh Factory on the stairs on like a Saturday show at like 11:30 at night. I was just sitting there. I'd been up since 6 in the morning, just going nuts all day, being parents. And I was like, I should be graded on a curve.
Yeah.
Because these other people, these
Slept
other
till
comics
11:30.
slept till 11:30, had brunch, went home, took another nap, got ready for the show. I have been just working. And I was like, it was so exhausting.
Yeah.
Completely exhausting. But back to the artist thing, we weren't sure if we were going to do it. I was a little more sure than my wife was, Cynthia, and she was a comic. And it was because of being artists that we kind of came to the idea of your whole job as an artist is to experience life and then put it back. Why would we pass on the biggest
That one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. There's interesting like two ways to go with it. And
Yeah.
everyone's like, you don't know what it's like to have kids. This is a big argument, and no one's honest. Like it's like remember the Jaguars of our like teens and 20s. We're like, oh, they're nice, but
Yeah.
they're in the shop all the time.
Right.
And if you had a guy who would only talk about how great it is, and I'm like, I know you're covering up the shop part, so I can't really trust you on how great it is because
Yeah.
you're lying about the shop. And a lot of parents would just
Yeah.
refuse to say the negative.
Yeah, exactly.
And so then it's like, I see it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see the bags under her eyes.
I know. Yeah, and just how much you age.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really kicks the shit out of you.
Yeah, I just decided I was having more fun.
Yeah.
So, like, I get it. It's like, I'll never know what it's like to have kids. And then, like, my friends who had them was like, well, you'll never know what it's like to not have kids at 41.
Yeah. No
where
kidding.
it's, like, pretty joyous and free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you get to put the money onto your set.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, if you had to okay that with someone who was like, we don't have enough money for their college yet. I mean, fuck, how am I going to justify this?
Yeah. No, you do have a freedom that I often envy. Like I'll just see you popping up in all different parts of the globe.
Yeah.
And you're just showing up in like all these different spots. And I heard a rumor that you might be moving.
Yeah, I'm moving
You are.
to London town.
Oh, wow.
First, I'm going to go backpacking for a while. I think Morrissey might come meet me at some point.
Oh, yeah?
You're invited. I don't know.
How did you know exactly who gave me the rumor?
It's funny when you have mutual friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big Yankee fan too.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6-8 months to go, like, not completely off the grid, but just really backpack.
6 or 8 months.
Yeah.
When are you going to start? After this second
Solstice.
special?
Yeah, after the second special. I told him, like, hey, you can put it out whenever you want, but my life's calling, so if it's out past this time, I'm not going to be able to promote it.
Wow. My life's calling. What a beautiful phrase.
Duncan,
My kids are calling. That's my phrase.
Duncan told me that once I was fighting with with Comedy Central a little bit. And they were trying to get me to work hard and keep going right back in. It was 8 months of editing to make sure everybody's story was right.
Right.
And they were like, nah, just do one day and then let the editors take over. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no way. These guys
No.
are counting on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, I need a break. And I want to go I want to go to Southeast Asia. I want to go places.
Yeah.
And then Duncan was like, well, they're telling you not to see the world and you want to see the world. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Seems like there's your answer.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
But anyway, hopefully
And it
it'll come up
informs
for-
you and you'll be a better comic for it.
God, it's so fun. It's so fun being gone. You travel a lot, huh?
I travel a lot but in the States.
Yeah.
I have a handful of trips out of the country that I'm not a great traveler in places that are unknown. I get nervous.
I get nervous too.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, there's this idea about me that I'm like brave.
Yeah,
No,
that's what I see.
yeah, I just
I'm like,
jump
that
in.
guy, he'll like be with these crazy people in the jungle and just drink lamb's blood and
Yeah, you're seeing the last day of the trip.
yeah,
You're seeing the calm downness.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Right, you do calm down once you start to. It becomes the unknowable becomes knowable.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
yeah.
known.
And everywhere you go, there's a bit of, I don't know if there's American, maybe Jewish fear of like other countries. I don't know if it's like
Yeah.
xenophobia or like they're gonna rob me, I'm gonna get cheated. It's always there. And then you get to some countries like, oh, this is a highly Buddhist country where they're like, their culture is to assist.
Right.
And I'm still like, what?
Yeah, no, I think it's growing up with American media, even more than our schools. Just watching what I was taught about the Middle East my whole life made me so scared of it. And then we talked on your podcast that we went to Beirut.
Yeah.
And it was like, there's like, what am I going to be? This is terrifying. And then I was like, maybe I can get a place here.
Yeah. What a shift. What a shift.
Yeah. No, but I do get nervous.
Yeah, but I think that's good to go into something that makes you nervous. Is like that's kind of where life lies.
Yeah.
And the discomfort and like the figuring it out.
So what makes you want to live in a different spot?
Same reason I moved to New York from LA when everyone was going the other way. I remember Don Herrera goes, "No, dude, people don't do it that way. You're starting to take off. Like, stay here, or if you're in New York, come here."
Right.
You don't. That's crazy what you're doing.
Right.
But I was like, I want new restaurants and meet new people. And
Yeah.
I want to know the bookers in these places when I hear you guys talking about them. It's a romantic idea of it. I want to be part of that.
And so is it more comedically for London?
There's only a few cities I can live to do what I do.
Yeah.
3 going on 4 maybe, but I'm kind of too famous in that town to do it there. So I mean, I get challenged in London. Crowds hate me.
Do they really?
Yeah, I get yelled at.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because they saw you before, or because what you're saying that
What I'm
night?
saying right then.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the last time I was at Top Secret, it was like 2 different shows. I did 6 shows there, 2 different ones. A different woman. It was not the same one. I was like, move on, guy, move on. And it was like,
Really?
Yeah. And the second show, another guy was
Move
like, no,
on.
don't. Like it was splitting them. The first show was just straight bomb, but the second one was like splitting them, where it's like, this might be too advanced for their sensibilities there.
Yeah.
You know, Lenny Bruce probably suffered from that, where it was like, oh, you should come back in 10 years and people would like you better.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
But I want that. I want that risk.
Yeah. You enjoy it.
I love it. I love finding laughs from like unlaughable places.
Yeah. No,
The failures are bad, but
Yeah.
the wins are so good. I talked to Adrian Appalucci about this.
Yeah.
Get him to laugh at was Ted Bundy better for black people than Martin Luther King? And if you can get him to laugh at that,
Right.
then it's like what an earned laugh.
Yeah. What's strange is that whenever there's real pushback, it's not when audiences don't consider the source. Because I think what's great about
Context.
What's great about stand-ups is you get their essence immediately. Like you know who they are, and you're obviously not a wicked evil person. You know, it's like Jeselnik kind of has the same kind of a thing where you don't. This isn't. You got to be in on the. It's pretty obvious that you're in on the joke with this guy.
Yeah.
You know?
So Jeselnik, you already know. He's like, hi, I'm just a normal guy. I'm just here to entertain you, without saying it like that.
Right, yeah.
And then when he says something real dark, it's like, no, I'm just your guy saying it. It's not just someone sitting next to you in a bus.
Right.
And a lot of times you'll get something taken completely out of sense. It's like there's jokes you can't do up front.
Right.
You do 30 minutes in because I got to really earn their trust.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's presented to people up top. Mm-hmm. Without even knowing who you are. Artie Lang had that once where he made a joke about somebody and then people retweet it. His followers all know it's Artie Lang, comedian.
Right.
Followers just know who the fuck is Arthur Lang.
Yeah.
Why is he saying these things?
Right. Yeah.
And so then it gets looked at as so bad. But like,
Yeah.
it's that context of like, I got this crowd on my side.
Right,
Tosh
right.
had that. It's like,
Yeah, we're
I'm
in
already
on
in
this.
a good place.
Right.
They know I'm joking.
Yeah.
You know, if you go to the bathroom and I tell them like, I hope he never comes back.
Right.
They know we're friends.
Right. Exactly.
So it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess Jimmy Carr's probably in the UK.
Yeah. Jimmy's cool. He's always been helpful.
The one, like who could be dark without.
No,
with
there's
the
a few
audience
guys.
still
We
being
just
with
don't
you?
know them all.
Yeah, I don't.
There's a
I'm
few
sure.
guys.
Yeah.
Finn Taylor gets like that.
Uh-huh.
There's tons more that I don't. Sloss.
Right. Yeah.
Scotland technically counts as UK for another couple of years before they finally man up and get that 1% back and take off. Yeah. Yeah, there's a few.
So the landscape's probably. So it probably is a good time for you to go when
think-
it's all in the ground is shifting.
It's so funny. You tell people you're going there too. Like it's illegal to do your type of stand up now, and I'm like, let's see.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever perform out there?
Just once. I have an offer to go back in June.
Spots are different than your own show.
Yeah, this would be my own show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my own show would never get pushbacks. They're already converted.
Oh, you're talking about just jumping on a
Yeah, that's-
comedy store or something.
Yeah, that's what Geraldo always said. He goes, spots are barely overlapping of a headline set.
Right.
It's like it overlaps, but a little.
A little, yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. That's why it's good to do spots. Mm-hmm. You know, to stay sharp and to
Yeah,
stay
like
good.
this better follow Tom Papa. This better be able to follow
Right.
Norman and like.
Yeah.
And then if I do it in my hour, it's not just because I have them.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You're not just your little tribe.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. So anyway, I can do stand up every night in London.
Yeah, well, that'd be good.
new
Do you know
places.
what part you're gonna live in? Just gonna go.
I got an Airbnb for a couple of weeks and eat a few different spots till I kind of feel out
Oh,
where
nice.
I might want to live.
Oh man,
It's just even now talking about it, it's pretty exciting.
it is exciting.
It's like
You
it's
know,
all
my
possible.
kids are grown now.
So we could do whatever you
I
want.
could probably do the same kind of thing. Like take the Airbnb right as you're leaving, I take it,
Yeah,
and then I'd probably go back home.
yeah. Or what about New York for a while?
What's that?
What about New York for a while?
I
with
do
your
want to go
chick?
back to New York, and I'm thinking, you know, it's so nice here right now.
Oh, right. It
It's
really
so
is. Today
sunny and
was a great
beautiful.
day.
Yeah, and I don't know if I could do full year winter over there, but I would like to spend 3 months at a time.
Yeah.
You know,
I used to do Irish roommates with people, and I was like, I'll come to LA for the winter. Mm-hmm. You take a far more expensive place in New York, but in the shittiest time,
yeah,
and I'll pay more. I'll pay for my place. You pay for your place,
Right.
And I'll just live there. Did it with Fultron. Did it with Benji.
oh really?
That's great.
Yeah,
Find someone like that.
yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I have to get somebody to kidnap my dogs first. I got to get rid of them. They're kind of like children. Did you ever have pets? No
I
pets
have my
either.
first dog.
You'd
I
have
love
a dog
it so
right now?
much. I love it so much.
Really?
Yeah. But also, if I knew the amount of work it was going to take, I don't think I could convince that guy to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the I'll just stay out. Like, oh, you can't just stay out. You have to forget the little sicknesses.
No, I know.
It's
You're breaking their heart.
yeah, but also it's like they got to piss and poop.
Yeah.
They're on times.
Well, I'm glad you brought this up because it's
What's about?
well, you know, you talk about a lot of things in your comedy and you offend a lot of people, and I think I have a pretty thick skin with it all.
Oh, great.
But
So we're good.
no, we're not good.
Oh.
I saw your run on pugs, and you really acted like they were
Inbred.
inbred, and that when they're making their little grumble noises,
Yeah.
they're really saying "kill me now."
Yeah.
Just kill me.
They're so inbred.
Put me out of my misery.
They're like at the very end of The Fly when he has that guy, and they're like, "Don't kill him, hurt him."
Yeah, I was listening to that while looking at my pug.
You're a pug guy?
You're so right. Someone did an X-ray of a pug's head. Oh, what a shit show!
Really?
It's not structured like a face.
I mean, the eyes are like this, and it's
Yeah.
like,
It's so bad. It really is so
who made
terrible.
pugs? Who bred those for?
I think the emperors, right? Was it in?
Yeah, they were all inbred. There's like 10 parent pugs, and all of the pugs come from it.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
yeah.
They're the sourdough starters.
They
They
really
got messed
are.
up ones. If your starter's fucked, everything's fucked, right?
Yeah, it's a complete mess. Maya,
Who are these guys doing stock trading here? It's so funny watching like
they
buy,
work
sell.
really hard.
Apparently, pugs might have come from monkeys.
Really?
From monkeys? No, that's like an Ari bit.
What do you mean? Monkeys bred them for that?
Monkeys bred them.
You look a little like a pug. Your face is a bit pug-like.
You know, you just talked about how horrible they are and what
I can sort of see
monstrosities
it.
they are.
If your eyes were a little further out, and your
is
laugh
true.
was your regular breath.
It really is true. I am becoming more like my pug.
How many do you have? Were you always a pug guy?
No, my daughter got Frank during the pandemic. When her sister went to school
Yeah.
and she replaced her sister with a pug. And I was like, it just seemed hilarious. It was the pandemic. She's lonely. I'm like, whatever. And now I've really fallen in love with this pug. They're really kind of great.
Can he jump up on a couch or a bed, or do you have to?
A low couch. A low couch.
One of my least favorite things, unless you get steps, where the dog just goes like this to you.
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh, fine.
Yeah.
It's like, just get up here. Should we crack this bread? Or how do you do it? Are you saving it for another pot?
No, I'm just giving it to you. It's your bread.
Oh, I
I
didn't
baked it
consider
literally
that.
20 minutes ago.
Really? Mm-hmm. What's your wildest thing you've done?
With bread?
Like Dali-ish, like people, where people like the real bread communities, like that's not cool. You know?
I'm pretty conservative. I'm pretty much a Norman Rockwell of breads.
Oh, okay.
I don't get too Dali-ish.
Okay.
Jalapeno cheddar, which isn't that crazy.
Okay. I imagine what it must have been like cutting edge jazz musician, you know, where they're like,
Yeah.
like
No, you can't do
can't
that.
take those liberties with a
Yeah.
saxophone.
I kind of am in that camp.
Really?
Like when I see people going nuts on social media, everything's pugs and bread on my social media, and I'll see people do something like insane, and I'm like, no, you can't.
Have some respect.
No, have some respect. No, this is a while we're on uncomfortable moments
Yeah.
of you calling me. First of all, shitting on pugs, talking about how awful they are, and then saying I look like one.
I got in trouble for that because I said on radio in Edmonton, I said it was the first one I got. They're the pugs of the human community, Jews. And then somebody called in and was like, these radio hosts are so anti-Semitic. They called the club, which the club doesn't own the radio show. But then they were like, already said that. And then they were like, oh, okay then. Yeah.
This is just an uncomfortable moment. Our Cracker Jack staff over there
Uncovered it?
finds things, yeah, and I don't want to blow
Just give me
your
a
image
70s
or anything.
detective. Yo,
But
nice.
you act like you even have to move to countries because you're so dangerous and your stand-up is so controversial.
I don't say it like that.
You do. But yet
boy.
here we see, it seems like you're lately entertaining school children. Do you want to explain this kindergarten comedy you're into?
Yeah, I'm doing bits. Listen, if you find laughter from places where you can't get laughter, that's the best laughter. This little kid looks like he's the red rum guy, by the way. Yeah, so if you get these kids to laugh at, fucking in the shower, then that's a really hard-earned laugh because they don't even
Right.
like showers in the first place. They're like, do you mean baths? And I'm like, I don't. Go with me on this ride.
It's pretty.
I don't do my school shooting jokes during the kindergarten.
Oh, that's good. You save that for the high school.
Look at those kids. They're so interested. Where did you find that?
We take deep dives here at Breaking Bread.
Can't spell Ari without AI. No, but that's real though. That is real. You ever say something on the spot and get a laugh, and they're like, how did I do that?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
How do I
that
come
was
up
pretty
with any
good.
joke ever?
Yeah, exactly. I really know what I'm doing.
I was fighting with somebody about politics. I'm always like, I don't get involved, but
Yeah.
I can tell. I'm like, hey, when I hear somebody, that other side,
Yeah.
there's this and this. And I'm like, they say that about your side.
Yeah.
They're like, why do you mean? I'm like, look, I don't care. I'm just telling what you guys saying about each other.
Right, yeah.
You're talking about each other's fringes, your 2%, and you assume they're all that.
Yeah.
And then they were like a left-wing side. Like, I just think everyone should be left alone and you should punish trans people or gay people. I'm like, they all think that too. Mm-hmm. They don't. None of them think they should be in jail. You're crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, what? But wait, what was I just gonna say? Balls. Make a joke. Oh, I know.
Nice. Look at you. You're back, baby.
So they were shitting on. I know I shouldn't curse on your podcast.
You can.
You remind me a lot of an alcoholic, sober alcoholic.
Uh-huh.
And then sometimes I'm like, are you safe with the alcohol? Can I have a beer in front of you? So that's how I am with cursing.
Oh, really?
Is this offending
that's
you?
funny because when I was on your podcast, I noticed that
I was cleaning it up.
you cleaned up your language. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was wondering because it's your podcast.
Yeah, but you're a nice young man.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. So they were saying how something about Trump, and I was just talking about how sometimes he's misinterpreted.
Uh-huh.
And I was like that's a joke. That's not a serious thing when he says this. And they're
Right.
like, how would you know? And I was like, well, I'm an expert. I can be called to the stand as an expert on jokes. There's better ones than me,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I can see joke structure. He's not serious.
Yeah. from someone.
Yeah, I'm like, hate him
From
if
the
you
joke
want, but, like,
community.
you can see doesn't mean that.
Yeah.
From the joke community. Yeah,
I noticed that this last election cycle, when both sides were screaming on top of their lungs that if the other side won, it was the end of democracy.
yeah.
And I was like, wait.
What? Also, weren't they both already in?
Yeah, right.
So, like,
they'd already both had.
They
right.
both proved it was not going to be nuclear holocaust. Gays are not getting arrested. No one's
Yeah.
taking your son's dick.
Yeah.
And yet people are like, if we thought, and that's why I didn't quite have the energy the last two did.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we were like, you don't really believe it.
Right.
Can I show you my away message from when I went to Cuba with Bobby
No.
for the election so I could miss it because I care so little? So I went to, we went to Cuba. We didn't find out who won till Sunday, till we came back.
Till Sunday?
Yeah.
Wow. And you've never voted, right?
I voted for Clinton won.
Uh-huh.
And then
Perot.
he won. And then I was like, I think I'm done. First out of laziness.
Uh-huh.
And then out of like just sure like, come on, where is this? Sheer like, I think it's all crooked.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna keep it. Here we go. Okay. Damn it. Nope. This is my away message I really like.
If
Here
you
we go.
had kids, this is when they go, Dad,
Yeah.
just give it to me. I'll find it.
I'm in Cuba for the election. No Wi-Fi or cell reception. No way to get in touch with you or me. Yeah, I didn't bring my phone with me. I narrowed it down to a list of countries that legally do not allow elections.
You didn't bring your phone with you?
I brought a burner phone so I could just take pictures.
Really?
Yeah. In my absence, please enjoy screaming at your friends, neighbors, and various online strangers during this period of democracy. Say hello to your echo chambers and use the line, I feel like everyone is crazy except us, for maximum approving nods. If civil war breaks out while I'm gone, I might no longer be the third richest man in Havana, but whatever. This is the part. I sure do hope your candidate wins. They just have to. The state of the country and really the free world hangs in the balance. If your person doesn't win, I think we're doomed, and I fear for the children. If your person does win, it's going to be a great time of economic and social excellence.
That really is so perfect. Like, wait, what side?
Just like, God, shut up.
How was Havana?
Glorious.
I've never been.
It was my first time.
Yeah.
Glorious. Hurricane came in the middle and
Oh.
wiped out a few days. We wanted to, like, a day before, like, you're not going to get back in time. Mm-hmm. And then no power in the whole country for 2 days, which was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, when
Did it
it
feel
came back,
dangerous? What do you mean interesting?
like, not having power, then they were like, hey, let's go explore. And the guy was like, wait till sunlight.
Right.
Don't go past a block past here in this condition.
Uh-huh.
It might be some like,
Ne'er-do-wells.
yeah, it might just be like in moments of like when there's no food.
Mm-hmm.
But there was like, we had to run, find bread and cheese before it happened. Like, the guy's like, hey, the power's gonna go off. We just got it back. If the heavy winds come in, there's no way it's lasting.
Right.
So we need to stock up. And then stupid Bobby Kelly's like, ooh, let's get cookies. What kind of cookies? I'm like, Bobby, we need bread and cheese. And he goes, but let's get, like, come on, they're out. Let's go to the next spot. He goes, but we're going to need cookies. I'm like,
We're looking
dude.
for cookies.
Yeah. Once a fat guy, always a fat guy. Even
really
if he's
is
not
true.
fat, you can't help it. What if we ran out of cookies?
Yeah.
But man, when the power came on, we're up
Yeah.
on a balcony, me and him on the roof of this place we were staying.
Wow.
We see one light in the distance. We're like, maybe it might be a generator, but it might not. We're just smoking a cigar, watching. And then it was like an hour later, we were like, I can feel it. And then an hour later, it was like, bop, 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 bop. The whole country comes back.
Wow.
And we're just, everybody, you just hear a country celebrate.
Wow.
It was great. I was like, yeah.
Wow.
I'm like, let's get out there and party.
Yeah.
They brought the bands, let's go. And they all started fucking playing.
Jeez.
It ruled.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the next day, we just watched like destruction. We walked around.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy was like, you probably don't get to look at post-hurricane cities much.
Yeah. Yeah, good
It's a cool way to
point.
travel.
But a good city just to...
Yeah, safe. They might. What I got is the worst they're gonna do is steal from you.
Yeah.
But your career, it's if you get punched to steal from you, that's 15 years.
Oh, whoa.
It ain't worth it.
Whoa. Interesting.
Yeah, the guy who was staying with, you stay with like houses so you can get a little tip. That's the only way they can acquire wealth.
Oh,
'Cause
really?
otherwise, you get kind of paid from the government. So it doesn't matter how good your coffee shop does, you're getting paid the same. Mm-hmm. Except
Right.
for tips from foreigners.
Okay.
So, and I'm off a little bit in that. But
So you stayed at someone's house?
yeah, in a spare like room. that they built, and so, but yeah, he was saying he got his phone robbed the other day, and he goes, they want to report who it was or like describe him, but like it's a 30 euro phone, and like the fact that the guy grabbed me by the neck to steal it, he goes, I was drunk, but like. Listen, I want my phone back. I'm not putting somebody in jail for 15 years who's desperate.
Jeez.
That's the word I was looking for. The desperation goes
Right.
up.
Right.
And it's like, don't do that. But the punishment, no way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's nice.
Yeah. So that's the
And is
worst
that
that's
the
gonna happen.
vibe? Like people have like a kindness towards each other?
Totally. And then the people I knew that were even more adventurous went to like house parties. They're like, oh, you're from out of town? Come join. Like, do stuff. Women, like single, alone women.
Yeah.
There's just not
No threat.
that kind of fear.
Wow.
Stepping in dog shit. Yeah. Massive fear.
Yeah, but that's fun.
That is fun. After the hurricane, it was on the walls.
And you walk back into that guy's house.
Hey, look at authentic culture.
Go into your room.
Yeah. God, it was fun.
Your special Jew will come out in
April or May.
April, May.
Your episode of my podcast, You'll Be Trippin'. Let's put that out in the last month before your Beacon show. Move some tickets.
Oh yeah, May I think, right, Rach? May 3rd or something.
I'm getting a year ahead so I can go be in South America and still be putting out episodes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unless you have another special cover. That's what I
No,
was
mine just came out. Yeah. All right. So that's going to come out around the same time.
Yeah.
What is your take on the world's anti-Semitism during the recent? I mean, I know you're not in the news, but I'm
Yeah.
sure you feel like the ground shifting in lots of different places.
Yeah, I don't think it's I'm in the
Do you
minority.
feel like it's an uptick?
No.
You don't.
No. I mean, you're always going to be able to point to stories.
Uh-huh.
Small stories to prove your thing, but that's not a proof. Mm-hmm. One thing happened. It's like, all right, that's an uptick. And I mean, there are big violent things. I don't take that away when a synagogue gets shot or the Orlando nightclub gets shot. But overall, are gays better off now than they were 30 years ago? I think yes. Mm-hmm. No one's looking at Mateo and his boyfriend double taking, oh my God, 2 guys. I think
Yeah.
it's way more normalized. Mm-hmm. But then that Orlando shooting is bad. You
Yeah.
can't take that away, but I just don't see this anti-Semitism. Online, sure. Mm-hmm. Most of online is trolls and retards. Mm-hmm. People live literally in their 30s living with their mom.
Yeah.
And people just trying to make you mad.
Yeah.
I travel around. I don't see it.
The protests this year from the
Overhyped.
Gaza stuff,
Way
confronting-
overhyped.
Rich Voss or
He's crazy.
Jerry,
he reads the nudes.
But I'm saying coming out of a show and having people protest to their face. and
Yeah,
that
but then
kinda-
it's are you scared? And it's no, did anybody touch Jerry Seinfeld? They did.
no,
Oh, right.
no.
Yeah. So it's okay. So those people are too worked up into it. I liked how he handled it too. It was here we go.
Yeah.
It's you're going to disrupt I'm just an American Jew.
in Australia.
Oh, what are you guys doing? You're so dumb.
I know.
This
Great,
is how you
you're
make a
yelling
difference.
fixed the whole problem.
Yeah. I mean, I saw an Israeli and a Palestinian get in a fight in New York, and they both got arrested. And I'm like, neither of you are even there.
Right.
You're doing nothing. Now you're both in jail.
Yeah.
Stop
yeah.
acting like Fitzsimmons.
So do you think it's more? So do you think it's more of a
think
social media noise?
So I was with Benji Aflalo, who's way deep into it. He's a comic writer out here. And he was like, it's bad. Then I was like, I don't think it is. And we looked up stats. And Colombia was really bad, a lot of whatever. Mm-hmm. And we looked it up. 8% of students in Colombia had been to a single protest. 92% had not. 92% had not even attended one protest. But if you read the news, it's nonstop all the time.
Right.
It never stops.
Yeah.
They're giving us a false sense of the world, and we're believing in that world. It's really bad.
Right.
Because then you look, there's that moment where because I'm in the world, even when I'm online, I'm still in the world. You run into an Arab comic, and you're like, are we good?
Really?
We've always been cool, right? We're both looking at each other like, I don't care, and you didn't do it to me, and I didn't do it to you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Also, it's just shitty. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's sad as fuck.
Yeah.
Any death of a child is really bad. But how do we go from peace in the Middle East to it's their fault or it's their fault? Mm-hmm. You step over a homeless guy, you don't go, which government policies put him in place? You can just see the humanity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know, it's just shitty, but don't think about it. Ew.
It's interesting because it's kind of reflective of what we were saying before of your Cuban text of your side, all the drumming up of the.
Yeah.
This is your side. If the other side wins, you're going to end democracy, and then you go out on tour and you go to Indiana or you go to these places and nobody's at each other's throats.
I have one of the biggest noses in comedy.
I didn't want to bring that up. That was the other uncomfortable moment. That's one way we could have gone.
Yeah, but I'm like, I go all over the country. I don't just stay in my hotel. I'm
Right.
not like a rich guy who just stays. I like to explore and do stuff.
Yeah.
And to rural, to democratic, conservative places, like no matter where, it hasn't come once. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like it used to come a little and now it's more. The subway pushings was
Right.
almost nothing, and then it's still almost nothing, but slightly more. But
Right.
still,
But it's
You read
dramatic.
the news, like fuck, you're scared, but like, who even knows anyone who was happened to?
Right. Yeah.
It's just an overhype.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, that becomes like, I just don't see it. I don't see it. And I'm
Yeah.
out there looking.
Right.
So Benji was like, I got kicked once at a rally. And I was like, what preceded that? And he was like, I was insulting the guy's mom. And I'm like, okay, so you took that out to try to further this story. That's that fake story you just told.
Yeah.
And he goes, fair enough, you're right.
Yeah. Well, that's
I mean,
good to hear.
Yeah, you see it online. You think it's everywhere.
No, and the reason I bring it up is because I talk to my Jewish friends and
Are they scared?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
feel it. They feel like not having addressed it like head on or seen it, but just the noise, the chatter seems like it's.
We're also in a victim culture where there is money and glory to be made in something bad happening to you.
Mm-hmm.
It changed. It's okay to change. I don't want to be a geezer about it, but it changed from like bragging about the hurdles you went over rather than the hurdles that held you back. Mm-hmm. But now we brag about the hurdles that held us back.
Right.
Okay, it's fine. If that's the world, that's fine. But like that makes you then. So I talked to someone who just graduated, not Columbia, not Barnard. One of those. One of those right around the hundreds.
Right.
New York.
Columbia, Fordham.
Yeah, it might have been Columbia.
Columbia, Fordham.
Brandeis? No, that's
In New York? In the city?
in the city. Anyway.
You don't have to look it up. I just
yeah,
thought
whatever.
maybe
It doesn't
you'd know
matter.
off the top of
Good
your head.
school.
Fordham too.
Fordham, yeah.
And they were talking about trans, and we were at a wedding, and there was a trans sibling or something. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what'd you think of them? They're like, yeah, what I thought they'd be. I'm like, what do you mean? It's like a bit of attention grabbing, and I was like, oh, was everybody like faking it? Let's say it's Columbia. And she goes, oh no, there's tons of like legitimate trans people. But in search of victimhood, if you're an upper middle class white person and you need something bad, you can't just be black.
Right.
But you can just say I'm non-binary. You can get that real easily for a couple of years. So there's a few people, and they're annoying, and then they go into that, and it kind of distracts from the people like I'm non-binary.
Really, right. Yeah.
So with that in mind, people like to. I remember right before the pandemic, I was reading. I was like, black people are really like going hard on the anti-victim now, and then it's like I was kind of like, I'm glad Jews aren't doing it yet. We're just not participating. Then I read an article. This lady was like, it just started. And she was like, I'm scared to go out for my life. This was 5 or 6 years ago. She goes, every time I go out, I have to take my Jewish star necklace and like tuck it in because I'm scared for my life. And I wanted to reach through the page and go, take it off. If you're not lying, take it off. There's no law that says you're supposed to wear that. That's just an adornment.
Right.
So you're lying.
Right.
You're lying for effect. And
Yeah.
I can see through it.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
crazy. What are
Yeah.
you talking about?
You're talking about hear me. Pay attention to me.
Yeah. And so it's like, that's a lot of it. And then people are like, oh, this lady's scared. I'm like, she's not, though. She's faking and you're taking her word for it.
Right.
So that's what I think.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people will be like, no, you're crazy. But it's like, I saw this online. I saw this online. Or it's bias.
Yeah.
Like, it's like this thing happened. And you're like, but what led up to that? Was that a lover's tiff or was that a racial thing? I know you want to see, like, reported hate crimes in all categories have gone up. But proven hate crimes don't go up by the same rate as the reported hate crimes.
Right.
But that's just kind of comes with the world. But then to us, it means should you go fear going out? And I say no.
Right. Right.
Crime stats. Is
Yeah.
New York dangerous? Like, are you talking about gang on gang violence? Because we're talking about can your girlfriend walk the dog
Right.
without getting shot? That's the real violence we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, it's totally safe.
Right. It's kind of the same.
Yeah.
Well, this is a good
That
lesson.
was too serious, bro.
No, it wasn't. No, because I'm really interested because I know we've had other comics on who don't hold that opinion, that they feel like, that they do see it. Like, but when you talk about it, it is mostly the online kind of stuff, and they do feel it because they come after them. So
and
I
then
mean,
they're
if
looking
anybody
for a
comes after
fight.
me for anything, I feel it.
Yeah. You're looking for a fight. It's always,
Yeah,
but it's like, you read The Fountainhead?
yeah.
So
Ayn
there's
Rand.
there's this guy got set up to do some high level piece of art by a guy who kind of hated him for being a pure artist.
Right.
And he gave him this commission to do a temple, a church of some kind.
Right.
But he goes, "You're such a you do whatever you want. No rules on this." Bridget Everett was on my storytelling show once, and she was like, "Can I sing a song?" I'm like, Bridget, it's not a song thing, it's a story thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was like, "But I'd like to," and I was like, "Fucking fine." And then, man, through song, she told this 12.5-minute long story.
Yeah.
And how out of line I was to tell an artist how to do their thing.
Yeah.
So wrong on my part.
Right.
And proven. Even if she had failed, I'm out of line to say it.
True.
Anyway, so this guy sets up this artist, this architect, to do
Yeah.
whatever he wants in this whatever. And at the time, all the churches were very high, closer to heaven. This guy's theory was heaven's on earth. We are God's creation. So he'd made a long, flat one. And then the guy who set him up wrote a bunch of articles under different names and told people to write articles saying this is heretical. Remember it at all?
Yeah,
This
a
is
little
terrible.
bit.
And everyone's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's terrible. They're all reading the news. They're all online.
Right.
That version of online. It's terrible. How dare you? How dare you do this? And the passage I love was like occasionally someone who doesn't read the news would come into the church just randomly and then be overwhelmed by a sense of peace and awe.
Wow.
Like they got it because they weren't influenced.
Right.
That's
just
the
saw the
world.
thing.
It's fucking great.
I know.
It's a great world. The
It really
technological advances, the science advances, in like equality, we're all at super high levels right now.
Yeah.
Minus a couple blips.
Yeah. I had that even just yesterday when I was driving home over through the hills, and it's these, in LA you have these legendary spots of traffic where it's just like, it's gonna double the time to get home or whatever. And I'm in one of these legendary bits of traffic.
Yeah.
And it was such a beautiful day and the windows were open, and I'm watching the other people in traffic down at that other valley going through their thing, and the wind was just coming through the trees, and you could literally smell whatever was blooming. And I'm like, we live in magic.
Oh my God, it's December.
We live
You've been
in-
on the East Coast.
But just being a human being on Earth is magic.
Yeah.
It's magical. And
What a great outlook.
yeah, it really does capture you at times.
And then you're in a better place than the other guys. Like, fucking move.
Yeah, right,
Fucking
exactly.
Move.
Inching up and
Yeah,
inching
yeah,
up.
inching
and
up
just,
like, no one's
looking
even
at his
coming.
text, reading news stories as he's in his traffic.
Yeah, just open your glove compartment,
Yeah.
bring out your water bong, and enjoy the traffic.
Well, I hope this lesson was really heard by everybody, because I think Joe, who's our producer, anytime I have a suggestion about what we should do on the podcast, I'm hearing anti-Semitism. And I just think we should keep in mind what Ari has said today, and not everything is...
Corrected.
Sometimes it's just people trying to make things better, Joe.
I want to do like anti-Semitism for good. So my favorite one is the comments. Thank you for the weather today. It's based in positivity. Hey, I played golf in February, man. I appreciate that. I'm like, no, all right. Yeah. I want to do a series of the racist detective. I feel like it must have been done.
The what?
The racist detective, and he's solving crimes correctly, but under the wrong.
For the wrong
You know,
reasons.
yeah, it's like this black guy couldn't have written the ransom note because they can't read. You're like, all right. I mean, you're letting them off, but yeah.
You hear that funny moment in the special when you talk about Ms. Pat. You're like, what's with your grammar? What's with your people's grammar?
What they do.
And when I say you people, I don't mean, I just mean
All non-Jews.
All non-Jews,
Yeah,
right?
That rules.
Yeah.
We were sitting on a park bench once in Brooklyn. We were doing maybe the first podcast I did with her, which outside she put on one of her top 3 wigs. Went out there and we passed a Hasidic couple past us.
Yeah.
She hadn't been in New York before. And she was like, hello. The guy just kind of like looked at her, not even angry, just kind of like looked. as if you're seeing a caterpillar, just looking with no. She was like, "Hello, hello." She just passed. The woman, the wife, kind of nodded. And that was it. She's like, "Why, man? What the fuck was that?" And I was like, "Oh, partially he can't see you,
Right.
because you're black, so it's just like he tones anything not Jewish is out,
Right.
And then partially." He's mad at you sitting with me because he's like, what are you doing with that?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Either way, don't let it in. but he doesn't understand. He didn't mean any real harm. Yeah.
The one surprise of your second special of Jew was I always thought, because I grew up in not predominantly, but I mean, it might have been majority of not Orthodox but Jewish families.
Yeah.
And
where was that?
So it was always in northern New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
And it was great. I just loved. They're so close to Italians.
Very close. A lot of overlap.
Yeah, a lot of overlap in the families and the dynamic of the mom and the grandmother and the food and all that stuff. And it wasn't until your special that I realized that goy wasn't a term of endearment. Because it does, yeah. Because I'm like, I would say it out loud, and it was always like a beat of them looking at you, like, "Why are you saying that about yourself?" Yeah. But I always thought it's a fun sounding word.
Yeah,
So I just assumed, yeah, well, I'm not Jewish. That's obvious.
Yeah, okay. It can be. It's kind of like Jew.
Yeah.
But if you say it right, everybody if you say it wrong.
Right. That's the trick of your
Accentuate
special.
it.
It's like you have to say Jew, but how you say it can really, the inflection can mean a lot of different things.
Yeah, the community, I talked to the rest of my family is still pretty religious. Mm-hmm. And so they were like, when they knew it was coming out, they were like, the community was like pretty worried.
Oh, really?
They're like, well, that's the last thing we need is an Jewish. It was right after the Kanye and Kyrie Irving kind of were popping off.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I shot it well before, but it was coming out right then, so people were kind of more conscious of it. Mm-hmm. And so funny, they got mad at Kanye for calling his agents Jews. I'm like, I've been doing that for 10 years.
That was my bit.
My Jews, and they're not even Jewish, but they're still your Jews.
You're right.
But they were like worried. But then when they saw it, they're like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
This is actually pretty respectful.
Yeah. It was very respectful, I
Yeah.
thought. And really,
Too much cussing, but
yeah, but well, there were definitely, I could see some Orthodox having some problems with some of it, of
not like,
course.
why would you say that about us? It was that didn't really come.
Right, yeah.
I was real
It
worried
was
about
really,
that.
I mean, it was so well done. I mean,
Thanks.
the beauty of YouTube is that it's going to do numbers because it's worthy of numbers. It's not going to be a mistake. People aren't going
Right.
to just kind of like, you know.
You can get mistakes the other way.
Yeah.
But for some reason, like, you won't get numbers. Mm-hmm. But like, if they get numbers, there's something.
Yeah, exactly. And it really was like a refreshing, informative, funny, like almost history lesson and cultural lesson. It was really well done.
Thanks. It's for a try. I worked pretty, like, way more intentionally on that than anything I've ever done.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like,
What goes in, what doesn't go in, what have I not
Yeah.
covered? Asking people, like, anything. There's one guy's like, you haven't done anything about Palestine? I'm like, damn, I need a joke. I need at least one joke in there.
Yeah.
Or it's, why didn't you do that?
right.
Right towards the very end, Joe Rogan was like, what's the difference between like the brown Jews and the light Jews? I'm like, fuck.
Right.
Yep, I need at least one joke in there for this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But also, like,
was it different than putting together the new special? Like while you were
New
touring
special
around?
found me. The theme found me. That one, it was like I went into it, but it's like 10, 12 years of like, I got to eventually get to this.
Wow.
And then this one, I was like, I'm just going to do 45 minutes of just jokes. And then just touring, I was like, I'm starting to see, and also I'm starting to care about all my friends yelling about everything. And I was like, it's on my mind. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I have half the bits that can justify not getting into that. And then I'm like, I'm going to write another half.
Okay.
The Jew one, though, was all like, okay, I can't cover every holiday. It would be a 7-hour thing just on that.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I'm like, what do I have to cover?
Yeah.
What do I not? And then how do I show like my upbringing and the laws? Some of them overlap. So like my version of Hanukkah, I'm telling you the Hanukkah laws,
Right.
and also what I did when I was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would be both. Then it was just like I would have these like note cards, and I'm like, which one covers each of
wow.
these 3 different or 4 different angles?
Wow.
History, laws, customs, genetics.
Right.
Yeah, and then like putting on, and like, okay, there's too much of that there. It was pretty fun to do it that way. It felt like building something.
How long?
5 years.
5 years.
But five with a year off in there, which helped it a lot from COVID, and put it away and just did other stuff. But real intentional. And then like, hey, I'm taking a break for 2 weeks. Something else happened in my life.
And would you tour with it?
I toured everywhere.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go to places that don't know Jews at all.
Right.
Because I got to make it work there.
But it was your fans coming out?
Yeah, but then also spots occasionally. But then like Iceland, like, I don't know this reference. Chicago. Yeah, of course I know what this holiday is.
Right.
So it's like Perth was like, what? So I got to make that for those people to laugh.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause I've seen comics do it be too self-referential. They talk about by first name, a star of someone in their movie.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know, who, what?
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's like, I didn't want to do that. I wanted it accessible.
Yeah.
And then I had to add in some extra Hebrew. So I'm like, I would intentionally say, you know, the way the Latino comics will like say a punchline in Spanish.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me show my expertise by occasionally saying this word in Hebrew.
Yeah.
Or Yiddish or whatever, so that they'll like, so you can trust me. I know what I'm talking about.
Right, yeah.
And then cross-referencing it. That was the other thing. I've never done that. If I'm wrong in a bit, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
But this is like, the whole thing's out the window if I'm wrong about anything.
Yeah.
So rabbis would be like, nope. And I'm like, show me the passage. And then I'm like, damn, you're right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's when I found out Jews don't fuck through a sheet. My
Right.
friend told me, I was like, no way, you're wrong.
That you kind of, the power of it, of that rumor was that you actually thought
Fully
it was
believed
true.
it. Yeah. I had to be like, well, I can keep this bit, but only in that,
Yeah.
that it fooled me.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool that rabbis would weigh in.
Yeah, I had a rabbi in Denmark, I think, or maybe Sweden. And after he took all his students, he was like a forward-thinking rabbi, but religious. My closer was about Noah and he had 40 kids, and the real hero there was his wife's pussy, how bottomed out it was. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And then I did this whole act out of like, how these kids, could you even carry to term after like 35? Or could they just come out and grab food and go back in? And then this rabbi's like, the whole thing was great. Just, you know, Noah had 2 sons. And like 2 dogs. I'm like, no. And he goes, I don't care. Do the bit. It was hilarious. It's just not right. And then I was like, fuck. It's my closer for like a year.
Whoa,
and
terrible.
then I'm like, gone, have to lose it.
Terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who else had a lot of babies?
Yeah. Oh, I look, bro. I'm like, does anyone have 40 babies? Like, I don't think so. I don't think it's possible. I'm like, damn it.
Would the joke work about a rabbit?
Yeah, maybe I'll move it to a dog or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an interesting way to do it. And this one, just the thing just found me of like, everybody chill the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah. But back to the other one, was there a pride that when you put it out, like, that it was accepted? Like, did you feel like you did your people right?
Yeah, but I was worried. So like, you know, when you're like editing your special and then like, if you put it away for a month or now it's like, let me do the last color correction. And then there's like, I just talked to Danny Brown about this too. He's about to put an album out. He goes, is it even good? Like you forget
Yeah, the
even.
doubt. Yeah.
And then you'll like play it all the way through. Like, no, there's laughs early on. And this is great. Okay, I'm getting the laughs I want. But you forget.
Yeah.
So I was like, I tried to make this respectful.
Yeah.
Every time there was a Jewish like person in the audience, I keep an eye on them the way you do when you're making a black joke. Like, I want to make sure they're laughing.
Yeah.
And if I saw a woman with the wig and I'm doing bits about the wig, I'm doing it, but I'm glancing at her to make sure she's not like mad because I don't want to make them mad. I want to include them.
Right.
And they were, if you don't get it right, you got to tweak it. And if you do get it right, they're like, someone's speaking about my experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then it was like, I think it is. And then, I was glad. The
That's
result
good.
was people like, yeah, this is totally respectful.
It would be nice if the new one has that same effect on people because it's a little more universal in just American culture of being at each other's throats for these. And I don't mean to say that it's political, but it's like the cultural beats of what's been
Politics is a
happening.
lot of
over
it for
time.
sure. It's not the only thing.
Yeah,
It's
no.
a lot of it. But what I'm hoping to get, that one was more like a bigger thing for a lot of people. I want to reach one person, and I'll consider that a success.
Who is that person?
No one in particular. To like turn off the news forever.
Yeah.
Or for like 10 years, just to get away from it, go smell flowers and appreciate the good stuff. By the way, I'm hoping you're laughing the whole way while you get that message.
Yeah. How do you stay away from it when you have social media and when you're not on your burner phone?
I am constantly saying, do not recommend this channel, do not recommend this channel, do not recommend this channel. And it keeps hitting me. Well, how about ABC 7 from Tucson? And you're like, God damn, can you just put in no politics?
Yeah, no
Leave
news.
me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
I'll have a fun news. Man shoots a cockroach at a bar in Wyoming. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'll let that in.
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
can't watch CNN or Fox or MSNBC. Or
Yeah.
like, I see it, I leave the room. If somebody was watching it, I'll
Right.
leave.
Right. We had it when we turned it off at a certain point when the kids were little, and we never had cable news on in the house again.
Wow.
And it, I get the New York Times and I'll read stuff and that kind of thing. And when I'm on the road, I would
Book
put
reviews
it on.
are great.
But book reviews are wonderful. But not having cable news on in the house was such a. It wasn't a big stance. We just kind of did it like this is inappropriate for the kids to see, and it never went back to it. And it was a game changer in the house.
why would you want around your family images of war?
Yeah. Right.
That's just like, I know it's happening, but I'm not looking at like traffic deaths.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to see all
No,
that.
exactly. Yeah, the worst is local news. Like let your kids see what's happening down the street. It's just a horror.
That's a lot of it too. Remember, so after COVID happened, everyone got on Citizen app.
Yeah.
And then apparently every neighborhood in the world was a fucking war zone.
Right.
And you're like, I don't know that it just changed, but you guys are so into what's happening 5 blocks away.
Yeah, I know.
There was a break-in over there. I'm like, yeah, there's 7 a year.
Right.
You're finding every one of them.
I know. I'm so glad I never put that on. There was a show recently, and the character took out their phone and went to Citizen. I was like, oh, I dodged a bullet with that one. I could have seen my wife making us move 5 times because of that app.
I was in a beach house with my friends, and one of the comedians' wives just had a kid and was pregnant with another one. Mm-hmm. And she had an Apple Watch. Went off, alert, there's been a school shooting not nearby, somewhere. Mm-hmm. None of us got that because it wouldn't affect us, wouldn't get us on there. I'm not going to click on a school shooting in
Right.
Kansas City.
Right.
But she's so focused on this is the worst thing that can happen. I have a kid. I have to protect them.
Right, sure.
And so it's like, what are you going to be mad about? Let's suggest it to you.
Right.
Let's get you on here.
Oy.
And anxiety will do it. And so then
Yeah.
it's like you're letting them.
Yeah.
And there's no way around it. It's so hard. They're fucking
Yeah, they really know what we're...
Michigan engineering students that are trying to get you on there.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
And you're just like, I'll just go to black and white. That'll help.
Yeah. Oh, it's brutal.
We're doomed. So I don't know. I got to check my phone.
Is that why you get all those New York Yankee things on your phone?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like, all right, I know that's fake. I
Right.
can play pretend mad.
That is kind of the beauty of sports
Yeah.
is that you can take all of that anxiety, anger, envy, all of the bad things and put it in something that's pretty much just make-believe entertainment.
Yeah, when you're mad or I can't fucking believe. If someone's like, are you really mad? You're like, no, but shut up. Stop, man. I'm playing a game.
Let me get this out.
Yeah, I'm playing a game. Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to have a moral high ground because you're a Yankee fan versus Red Sox.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It all goes back to normal. Well, once again, thank you so much for
Yeah, thanks,
being
Pops.
here. Yeah, the specials
appreciate
are
it.
both so good. Really, it's really nice to see. I mean, it's the way that a lot of the public that didn't see you on YouTube are going to digest it. You're going to have 2 of these pretty close to each other.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see a new group of people see the Jew one.
Yeah.
This one obviously cool, but then that's like, let's see the second life of it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to
Really
see
not
like
topical.
how that broke down 6 million people, like where they were, because Netflix has that global reach. YouTube does too, but it'd be interesting to see if
It was cool to see on Jew because it's like crowdfunded now. That's like the way.
yeah
On YouTube. People are like, if you liked it, throw me a fucking ducat or a shekel.
Right.
And so you see the different currencies coming in.
Oh wow,
There's $5 Australian, there's 5 US, there's 5. I'm like, what is that? What is that symbol?
Oh, really?
I like write to them and they're like, oh, that's Zimbabwe. I'm like, what?
Whoa,
Cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, both definitely deserve to be to have a far reach. You did
Thanks,
really
brother.
good work on both of them.
Thanks.
And when you move, I'm gonna come visit.
We're going to have a spare bedroom just for that.
Oh, that'd be
Let's
perfect.
run around, do spots one day. And then we'll get
that'd be
ripped and
great.
walk 80 miles home because nothing's central in it.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Ari.
All right.
We got it, Joe.
Did you press record?
Oh shit.